There are some people who always complain about unhappiness. They keep saying that happiness never comes into their lives. But I've noticed this. If you haven't been happy for a long time, if you constantly feel unhappy, you are largely responsible for this. Do you know what people usually do? They blame their family, their friends, their spouse, their lover, their workplace, their company, even their country. Of course, these things have an impact, but ultimately, the main thing that determines our happiness is our choices. In this video, we're going to do a little soul searching together. I'll talk about some common traits of people who can never be happy. If you see these traits in yourself, it's also an opportunity for change. First and foremost, there are people who cannot live in the present because they are preoccupied with the past. You may have suffered in the past. You may have experienced injustice. You may have done everything you could but still failed to achieve results. Some people constantly replay the past in their minds at this point. If only, if I had done this. They even fantasize about revenge, thinking about bad things happening to others before going to bed at night. But my dear friend, what's done is done. Even if you were right, what's done is done. If there's something you can't change, you need to focus on the present. If you constantly fill your mind with the past, you won't make room for new possibilities, new lives that could make you happy. If the past has become an obsession for you, stop and think. Maybe that's the biggest reason for your unhappiness. There are also people who are never satisfied with any outcome, no matter what they do. These people measure things from the wrong place. There is a task worth 100 units. You accomplish 95 of it. But they don't look at the 95. They focus on the missing 5. Normally, a person would say, "Wow, what a great job I did." But these people are programmed to see only what is missing. They are incredibly harsh on themselves. It's as if there are two people inside them. One is the worker, the other is the boss. That boss constantly whips the worker. Have you ever stopped and said to yourself, "What have I overcome?" Have you ever said, "I succeeded in this struggle"? If you measure the shortcomings, those shortcomings never end. One of the groups that struggles most with happiness is those who live in the role of victim. Yes, they have a valid point at the outset. They have suffered injustice in the past. But when they constantly blame the past and others for their current problems, the problem remains unsolved. They only experience temporary relief. The responsibility for your current life is now yours. Nothing changes when you constantly say, "It's because of him, it's because of her." These people become very negative over time. They constantly complain, but there is no solution or action. The people around them eventually drift away. At some point, you have to say, "Okay, this happened, so what can I do now?" The moment you take responsibility, change begins. There are also people who expect miracles without putting in any effort. They love reading success stories. Stories like, "He started in a garage," or "He made a desk out of a door," really appeal to them. But they don't see the hard work, the support, the years of struggle behind the scenes. In their own lives, they think, "I'll just wait for a miracle to happen." It doesn't work that way, my dear friend. Nothing happens without sweat and tears. And let me also say this. Even if you try, there's no guarantee of a reward. But if you don't try, there's definitely nothing. Life owes no one anything. We have no choice but to fight. Angry people are like bombs ready to explode. At the slightest hiccup, they argue and fight. They are restless because they are constantly looking for faults. Anger exhausts people. It ruins relationships. It ruins the enjoyment of life. If jealousy is added to this, things become even more difficult. These people watch those around them like a detector. When someone progresses or achieves success, they try to belittle them. Yet everyone's path is different. Not everyone starts life from the same point. Constantly comparing oneself to others is one of the greatest enemies of happiness. That's all I have to say for now, dear. Take care. See you soon.